Hello everyone, I'm Jarvis and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a sad one. We're talking about the Commander Rules Committee and how they recently just went and handed off the control of Commander over to WotC. We're going to start by reading their statements, both from the Rules Committee and WotC, and then also giving my opinions on what happened. So to start, from the Rules Committee, as a result of the threats last week against RC members, it has become impossible for us to continue operating as an independent entity, given that we have asked WotC to assume responsibility for Commander, and they will be making decisions and announcements going forward. We are sad about the end of this era and hopeful for the future. WotC has given strong assurances that they do not want to change the vision of the format. Committee members have been invited to contribute as individual advisors to the new management framework. The RC would like to express our gratitude to all the CAG members who have contributed their wisdom and perspective over the years. Finally, we want to thank all the players who have made this game so successful. We look forward to interacting as members of the community. Please be excellent to each other. And as you can tell, a bunch of people that are sad about this. But before going into that, let's read what Wizards had to say. On the future of Commander. The past week has been tumultuous for Commander fans, members of the Commander Rules Committee, and the Magic community as a whole. Along the way, we've seen players and fans share a diverse range of passionate opinions, far too many of which were harmful or malicious. Below and over the next few days and weeks, we will be discussing quite a bit about Commander. Starting with the most pressing, over the past week, the conversation has escalated, culminating with unacceptable personal threats to the safety of members of the Commander's Rules Committee. This is something we will not tolerate. No matter how you feel about something in Magic, it is never appropriate to threaten somebody. Everyone at Wizards of the Coast is united on this front. We will not hesitate to take action against individuals who threaten to harm community members or employees. This week has also demonstrated the truly monumental tasks that face the Commander Rules Committee. The Commander RC is made up of 5 talented, caring individuals, all with other jobs and lives which they must balance with managing the most popular format in Magic. It results in incredible amounts of work, time spent deliberating, and exposure to the public. Nobody deserves to feel unsafe for supporting the game they love. Unfortunately, the task of managing Commander has far outgrown the scope and safety of being attached to any 5 people. So today, in partnership with members of the existing Rules Committee, we are announcing that the Rules Committee is giving management of the Commander format to the game design team of Wizards of the Coast. Commander has always been a community-focused format, and this move in management does not change that. While ownership of the format may be changing, members of the Rules Committee and others in the community will continue to be involved. And the vision for a social format will not change. We've had some preliminary conversations already about what we would like to accomplish and have some ideas we will be rolling out together in the months to come. Working with the community to craft this format is critical to all of us. We have opened a new Discord channel on the official Magic Discord in the hashtag commanders_news channel, and we'll also have a weekly MTG stream talking about this tomorrow, October 1st at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on twitch.tv/magic. So, before we go into the what's next, I want to address this. The Rules Committee is why Commander is a format. Along with Sheldon, they were who came up with Commander as a format and brought it to the popularity where it is today. The constant harassment from members of our community, including death threats and personal attacks, was uncalled for. This was a casual format with love from everyone involved with it, and it is now in the hands from the only company that stands to profit from the format. If Commander fails going forward, it is because of those that attacked the Rules Committee for the bans that happened last week. I am deeply saddened by the fact that the Rules Committee felt like they needed to step down. All of them are fantastic people. All of them are brilliant when it comes to playing the game and looking at it from different angles. I've been thankful to play games with some of them. It's sad that you have went and made it such a hostile environment that they felt like this was their only choice. But let's get into what's next. Well, this is still very early. We do want to share one of the things we've just started working on with the Rules Committee, a more objective approach to deck power level and additional guidance and shared language for players to find games that match the type of game they're trying to play. It isn't anywhere near finished yet, but as part of building this with the community, we're opening it up for feedback, thoughts, and your version of how this will look. Think of this like an open beta. Here's the idea. There are 4 power brackets, and every commander deck can be placed in one of those brackets by examining the cards and combinations in your decks and comparing them to a list we'll need community help to create. You can imagine bracket 1 is the baseline of an average pre-constructed deck or below, and bracket 4 is high power. For the lower tiers, we may lean on a mixture of cards and a description of how the deck functions, and the higher tiers are likely defined by a more explicit list of cards. For example, you could imagine bracket 1 as cards that easily can go in any deck, like Swords to Plowshares, Grave Titan, and Cultivate. Essentially, what I really read that as bracket 1 cards are cards that are reprinted on a regular basis into Commander Precon products. Whereas bracket 4 would have cards like Vampiric Tutor, Armageddon, and Grim Monolith. Cards that make games go too much more consistent, lopsided, or fast than the average deck can engage with. In this system, your deck will be defined by its highest bracket card or cards. This makes it clear what cards go where and what kind of cards you can expect people to be playing. For example, if Ancient Tomb is a bracket 4 card, your deck would generally be considered a 4. But if it's part of a tomb-themed deck, the conversation may be, my deck is a 4 with Ancient Tomb, but a 2 without it. Is that okay with everyone? Essentially, Rule 0 conversation. Will this system guarantee perfectly matched games? No. And that might be fine at your table. But if it gets the conversation started from a shared understanding, that's already great for the table. We would love to hear what you all think about this and which power brackets you would place certain cards in. We will also be evaluating the current banned card list alongside both the Commander Rules Committee and the community. We will not ban additional cards as part of this evaluation. While discussion of the ban list started this, immediate changes to the list are not our priority. For now, the safety and well-being of the Rules Committee is the priority. What has happened this past week is entirely unacceptable. By working together as a team, we can shoulder the responsibility of this format and everything that comes along with it. Please stay tuned for more to come. In the meantime, you are welcome to join our Discord and discuss further, and we will see you for the weekly MTG stream tomorrow, October 1st at 10 a.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/magic. So, where I find this is discussing power levels. Power levels have been something that has been a problem with Commander for a long time. That the old joke, everyone's deck is a 7. There have been many people, including some people involved in the CAG, Josh Lee Kwai in the Command Zone, for instance, that have tried to go and define what different power decks are. And they were really good descriptions. Yet, as put into effect and shown by even other community members and other content creators, MTG Goldfish, not everyone could agree what a deck power level is. About a year or two ago, the Command Clash crew, the MTG Goldfish crew, that is, they went and did a podcast going over all of their personal decks. And each person voted on what power level they thought that deck was. More often than not, they did not agree. Cutting this down from a 10 down to a 4, which actually makes a lot of sense because most people didn't play anything lower than a power 5 deck anyway, is going to make it easier to go and decide that. However, how they're deciding what power the deck is my problem. Ancient Tomb making your deck a 4, but okay, it's an attuned thing deck, so not being that That's where Rule Zero conversation comes in. And what it really should be is, hey, I have, I have these cards. According to Wizards, these cards are power 4. However, this is why they're in the deck. Are these cards okay with you, or do I need to grab a different deck? Because I will say, a lot of mid-power casual decks will have 1 or 2 power 4 cards in there, but they're still gonna probably be at most a 2.5 or 3 as a deck, especially using a pre-constructed deck, which, if you haven't noticed, the pre-constructed decks coming out the past couple years are pretty freaking good. But using that pre-constructed deck as a baseline is going to be a problem. My other problem is they have shown that cards that are essentially reprints in commander decks like Cultivate, Grave Titan, and Swords of Plowshares are 1s. You put Ancient Tomb as a 4. Sol Ring will most likely be in that 1 category, but Sol Ring is much closer in power to Ancient Tomb than it is to Mind Stone or Commander Sphere. And while I love the people that design our games, part of the reason why these cards have had to be banned, because all of these cards except for Mana Crypt have been banned from sets that have come out in 2019 or later, is because of the design team. They printed 3 very broken cards, as some would say, that caused them to get printed banned within 5 years of being printed, and Nadu within only a couple months. And Nadu got banned and got printed in such a broken way because they were trying to design it more for Commander than for Modern. So I don't know how much I could trust the design team to cultivate the experience that the community might be looking for overall. In the end, I'm hoping that this keeps our format being what we want our format to be, a welcoming place for everyone to participate in. I'm hoping when it comes to deciding power level of cards that WotC does something similar to what EDH does for saltiness power level, where they load all the cards into a web page and they have the community vote. If you haven't seen that before, essentially what they do is they load the card up. They have a salt shaker for a 1 on the left, a salt shaker with 5 salt shakers on the right, and in between there's 2, 3, and 4. And you pick how salty that card makes you. And they aggregate that, and that's the new salty score for the next year. That's something that WotC should do with these cards as well. I'm hoping that as a community, we could go and still be strong together, support the outgoing rules committee as they are all fantastic people, continue playing the game that we love. But until next time, like, comment, and subscribe, and have a great one.